Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassar with TeddyBaldassar.com. In this video, we're looking at a watch from Citizen with the Citizen Bryson. So in this video and on this channel, we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassar.com, as an authorized dealer of all the brands that we carry. So in this video, we'll take a look at this watch, go through a general overview of the timepiece, look at some things to consider at the end. But throughout this video, if you have any further questions, check out the link in the description to the product page, where you can also purchase the watch and book a time with one of our dedicated watch specialists as well. But guys, let's jump into the video, take a closer look at this watch. When it comes to brands that are delivering good value at that entry-level position, Citizen has to be in the conversation. The Japanese manufacturer is well known for their wide collection of different watches, primarily for the ProMaster and enthusiast circles. And today we're looking at a watch that extends from that part of their catalog, looking at a watch that kind of fits between their diver-esque style watches, as well as moving into, say, some of their field watches like the Chandler, and kind of fitting right in between those and offering specs of both categories with the Bryson Blue Dial, this one in titanium. So first, taking a look at the Citizen Bryson on the wrist, we have a titanium case that measures at 42 millimeters in diameter, 47.3 millimeters from the lug to lug, and sits just at 10 millimeters thick. The proportions are modern, but there is a level of restraint to the case, particularly with the lugs. This is going to widen that range of wrist sizes that are going to be able to pull this one off. In terms of expectations here, this one wears pretty much more true to a 40.5 to 41 millimeter case. One thing to mention here is the end link of this case does have a little bit more of an extended presence compared to that of the actual lugs. So just keep that in mind, but still overall 40.5 to around 41 millimeters in terms of when putting this one on the wrist, if I had to put a direct comparison with that restrained lug to lug distance. Positioned at the 3 o'clock along the side of the case, you have a push-pull crown that's protected by bolstered crown guards that give the case a more sporty appearance. The crown operates in typical fashion, does have 3 positions. It has a resting position at that first point, non-screw down. Second position, you can change the date, and at the farthest pulled out point, you then can set the precise time. One of the selling points of this watch has to be the water resistance. You got 100 meters here, so good, just usability in a lot of different environments, despite having a non-screw down crown. Matte finishes are found along almost all parts of the case surface, with only a couple points of high polish along the bezel. Now the matte finish can be found down the lugs, which has the step design element that gives the case a bit more of a sporty look and feel to go along with those bolstered crown guards, and extends into the bracelet, which is supplied between 22 millimeter lugs. While each bracelet link is one solid piece, its design intention is to appear as though it has this more 5-link variety, with the 2 high polished sections dividing up the matte finished areas. The bracelet is secured to the wrist with a stamped titanium folding buckle with a dual button release system. Inside the clasp, there are 2 points of micro adjustment that can help with sizing this, and it is going to also be engraved with that Citizen logo. Sizing this bracelet is going to come with the traditional pin system, like many bracelets in this price category. And overall, a couple points that kind of just stand out when looking at this bracelet. One is going to, of course, be how light this thing is on the wrist, because we have titanium here with this case as well as bracelet. That's really going to serve in the favor of allowing this one to wear even smaller than what kind of specified a bit earlier. But in terms of the bracelet and its actual finish and how just sturdy it feels, it does leave a few things to be desired. So that is just one thing to kind of keep in mind. If I was going to look at this watch maybe as my first watch to go for, certainly would want to probably get some additional straps in my arsenal here. So looking back towards the anterior side of the watch, one of the peculiar things about this watch is on the surface, it looks like you do have a rotating bezel, but actually is going to be fixed to the watch itself. It is thin, has an aluminum insert, has printed silver markings, which further enhances that sporty look, but also does not actually have lume within that bezel as well. So just a few things that typically when people think of the ProMaster collection as givens are not actually here, so you can tell that this is going for a much different style. One of the upsides though of this watch is it does come with a sapphire crystal, a common request of many in this price range of around under $500, and typically is not seen on many ProMasters out there, so that is very nice to see here. Now jumping in, looking at this dial here, a few interesting points, starting with the far outskirts. We have a vertical set rehaut that is going to actually have markings on it. It is very vertical. I will say that it extends up straight ahead and is going to be a little bit difficult to read if you are looking at it straight on, but it does create an interesting visual dynamic when examining this watch and making it different than the typical chapter ring you'll find on watches of this type. Taking a step in, we do have a separate portion of the dial that's going to be raised from the central point. It's going to have raised markers along the outside with quarter numerals set at each of the 12, 3, 3, 6, and 9 positions. And then set right within that, we have a date window that has a white date disc with black writing on it. To contrast with the more concentric circle style design on that outer track, the central dial surface has really given way to that blue sunburst style effect here that is just going to glisten underneath the light. At the center, the watch is topped off with a traditional handset baton for the hour and minute hands and a blue second hand that will cast along the outside of the dial. Lume on this watch, like many other Citizen watches out there, is quite good as well. Writing is very minimal on here. Citizen at the 12 o'clock position, the writing of titanium at the 6, with of course reference to the movement inside with EcoDrive. So flipping this watch over to the back, we have a solid titanium case back that protects the EcoDrive movement, the E111 inside. Of course, the benefit to having the EcoDrive movement with its quartz oscillator is the high level of accuracy, which performs within plus or minus 15 seconds a month. So if you're all about having focus on something that's gonna be highly accurate during the course of a day, week, or month, quartz movements are always gonna be a better option and preferred choice versus a mechanical movement. Now the EcoDrive movement is also, and really kind of the selling point here, is charged by light. So no battery here, instead is going to have a solar cell, which can be powered by using any type of light, including artificial light. And when the power reserve is fully charged, power can be stored up to 6 months, providing the user with a true set it and forget it type of functionality. While there isn't a traditional battery that needs to be changed every couple of years, there is a capacitor inside eventually that will need to be replaced, but generally these are longer service intervals than your typical quartz movement. And in addition to that, at TeddyBaldasar.com, we have a multi-year full factory warranty, but this movement should give you very little concern, and at the end of the day, great accuracy. All right, so now to unpack this, Bryson, talk about who it's for and who it's not for. Now, a few of the things that stand out right away when you're thinking about the ProMaster collection, I think a lot of people just assume dive watches. That's really what has become part of the DNA behind this entire name and catalog of Citizen. In terms of this watch, it does deviate quite a bit from some of the other watches in that just range. In terms of this one, you're dealing with a titanium case, which is going to be lightweight in its wear, should offer some more versatility when it comes to wrists out there, but you are getting some different utility out of this one in terms of practice. Fixed bezel along the outside, also no lume in that bezel to really contrast from many of the ProMaster divers out there. 100 meters of water resistance still should be suitable, but not to usually the 200 meters, if not more, for many of the divers out there. Movement is the typical EcoDrive movement that you're gonna find, but at the end of the day, I think this watch is probably better suited for somebody that doesn't really want a thicker dive watch on the wrist. They don't necessarily need the ISO compliance with a dive watch. They just want an everyday watch, lightweight on the wrist. It's gonna be reliable in terms of ticking away every single day. They want high accuracy with the quartz movement. And I think ultimately that's why you go in the direction of a piece like this. All right, guys, well, thank you again so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That does really help out the channel. I do appreciate that as well. Also, if you're in the market for this watch, link in the description down below to purchase the watch at TeddyBaldasar.com. We're a full authorized dealer of all the brands that we carry. Quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support based here in the United States. Also have a full factory warranty for all the brands that we carry, so if something goes wrong, you're completely covered. We also offer price match, so if you see one of our watches for cheaper at another authorized dealer, just fill out that form and then we'll get in contact with you. And then finally, 9 out of every $10 that we generate from our store goes right back into the content that we're creating on our main channel, as well as here. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.